Hi folks, welcome to another Monday Marks Market Update. Today an incredibly important topic for tenants, but also implications that both agents and landlords need to be aware of. Changes to legislation giving a lot more power to tenants taking effect from tomorrow. First of all, just wrapping up the week that's been with auctions though, 41 properties went to auction with a clearance rate at 82%, and that's showing we're still in an undersupplied market. It's still a seller's market and there's some really great buyer inquiry out there if you need to take advantage of it. So let's say you're selling the property with a tenant in place. You're going to need to know the changes to this legislation, because the first one is that you need to give 48 hours notice to the tenant of any inspections that are occurring as opposed to 24. The other thing is that you cannot run more than 2 viewings per week. And previously you could run 4 or 5 showings and the tenant just sort of had to deal with it, and now you can't. The other thing is the tenant must mutually agree to the time frame, and if they say no, they don't want the viewing at that time, the agent needs to make another appropriate time frame. Now here's the really big thing to be aware of. Tenants now have the power to end a lease that's in a fixed term under 2 scenarios. The first is whether the property, if the property has been sold within the first 6 months of the lease, the tenant can end if it goes to the market, because they can say, well, we should have been notified and it's disrupting our way of life, and they can literally end that lease in the first 6 months. However, at any time, if the property is on the market for more than 8 weeks, that's also deemed to be something that could be onerous for the tenant, and therefore the tenant can also give notice to vacate at any time of the lease. So it's very important to do to understand that. The time frame the tenant must give is 14 days, so 2 weeks notice, and they don't have to pay any compensation. So there's some really big learning in there, folks. It's worth sending this blog, this video blog, on to anyone else that might be thinking of selling a property with a tenant in place. These implications give a lot more power to the tenants, so just about being aware of it. I hope that's helped. Have a fabulous week. See you next week.